Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Michi Makes Up. This is the second time I'm filming this. My mic was not on the first time. I'm pretty good about making sure the mic is on and just making sure everything's plugged in, but occasionally it happens. Crap happens. All right, well, let's do this again. Let me start off with Tom Ford. I tried the Shade and Illuminate Soft Radiance Foundation. Miraculously, the shade Fawn is a perfect match for me right at the end of winter. I was amazed. Like the tones, the neutral undertones, I'm neutral undertone, that it has is just, it's perfect. Automatically I felt very, extra like points for this foundation. But I didn't actually go and purchase a full size after I tried the sample because it broke down quite quickly around this area here. So this area and this area here, because of movement throughout the day, it is the first places, I guess, for foundation to break up and just, you notice the wear. And it happened around 4 hours, and that's not even nearing the end of a full day. If it was 6 hours, I think I could live with that. Typically, when I do a wear test, it's 8 hours. And so for that reason, I didn't pick up the foundation. I find that while it didn't add to my oiliness, I have combo skin. I find that because of its finish, I think you're gonna have some, I had some issues here for that reason. If you have dry skin and normal skin, I think you might fare better. It might have like better longevity on you. Otherwise, it is a beautiful foundation. It's just not for me to wear on a day-to-day basis. The other Tom Ford product that I really do like, however, is the Cheek Duo, and this is in Explicit Flush. I've been going back to it more recently because I love pairing these two together. So I'll use this shade here, which in the first time I filmed this video, I already swatched it. This shade here, just kind of all over the cheek area to give you a flush look. And then I'll go back to this shade, so right here, brighter, and just kind of, not tap it on, but put it around here to give this area a bit more dimension. So when you combine or layer the two together, you just get more dimension, more of a flush look, but also just some prominence here. And if you prefer more blush, this is definitely a shade. I mean, both you can build up, but this one you can definitely build up to give you more blush and kind of like a more standout look. Love these. Texture, very buttery. I've never had issues of it grabbing onto texture, issues applying the blushes and not having it diffuse nicely. So really have been enjoying these. And then I also love Smoky Quartz cream eyeshadows from Tom Ford that he released earlier this year. I also, along with the same release, picked up Rose Topaz. Also beautiful. I also enjoy it. But I gotta say, Smoky Quartz is number one of, I have a handful of Tom Ford quads and this one is my favorite. It's just all matte, and the look I create, it just works with my eye color. I think we just don't see matte eyeshadow color stories very often these days from luxury brands and and other brands too. So I feel like this is a standout for a few reasons, and the formulation's excellent. It's so creamy. It just glides on. And the other thing is, you don't have to think so hard. Like, I don't have to think that hard to create a look. I'm like, oh, let me just go in with this shade here all over the lid, and I'll deepen it up a little bit here. Maybe I'll use this as kind of like a liner, and then I might diffuse out any seams, or I just might focus on 2 shades, 3 shades, and boom, it's like I get all this dimension and it's beautiful. So love the cream quads. And because we're on eyeshadow, I find that this next Quint from Dior to be kind of similar to Smoky Quartz. This came out for Dior Summer Collection Riviera, and this is the Riviera Quint. Beautiful. Between Smoky Quartz and Riviera, I don't think I can pick which of the two I enjoy more. They both, they're kind of similar because these two, I mean, even this shade here, but these three there's some similarities to these three shades. Tones are a little bit different, the depth's a little bit different, but you create, they're not the same, the looks aren't the same, but there's that kind of like something there that gives you really beautiful depth and dimension without trying too hard. It's just something to do with these tones and the shades. So I love them both, and I'm surprised this is limited edition. I'm surprised this is still available. So as the holiday sales are coming up, you're going to hear me talk about this quint a lot more before they sell out. So I really have been enjoying this. I've actually had to take it off my vanity at one point because I just kept going back to it. I really needed to try, you know, other eyeshadow palettes. And speaking of eyeshadows, I am wearing Patrick Ta's Major Dimensions 2 today. That's what I have on. I really love this palette because of the concept of these cream shadows and how they're meant to work with these powders to give you added dimension. Patrick Ta himself, the way that he explained the palette is that these are meant to, you know, when you're photographed or the light hits it, you're moving. It gives you that extra something that you're not going to necessarily get with just like powder products. So I love the idea of this. It's well designed, and also the color story, mauvey purpley pink. I love it. It's right up my alley. And so I think this palette is really, really fun. I have gone back to it a handful of times after I've reviewed it, so I think this palette definitely has some longevity along with the other two, the quad and the quint that we just looked at. Moving on to more complexion products. I have here from Danessa Myricks, a very innovative, new, just everybody was really excited when this was announced. It is her Blurring Balm Powder. This product, you can set it if you want to, you don't have to. As you can see, I really haven't gotten to it that much. It is shade number 3, by the way, and it works for me. I have it on. I have it on underneath foundation on top of my moisturizers, and it works. It works to blur your complexion. It does help to like hold on the makeup a little bit longer. So it's kind of like a multifunctional. It blurs, it's a primer because it holds on to the makeup. You can also use it if you don't want to use foundation but you want some pigment on the face. You can use it almost like, not a BB cream, but something to that effect, some pigment, some blurring to even out your complexion. The reason why I haven't gone back to this is it does have a texture that can be heavy. It's like another layer. And for day-to-day use, I'm just, you know, going for something that feels really nice, is quick to put on. So not only is it another step that I do have to go in and kind of blend out, it does feel like another layer. So that's why I haven't gone in. And I will say it probably works pretty nicely with oily combo skin, not so much dry skin. Because in areas where, my problem areas where it's kind of dry, it can get kind of dry, like right here, sometimes the bridge of the nose, sometimes just randomly like different parts on the face. This could actually bring that out, even though it's been formulated to be non-drying, just to like help you hold in moisture. And so to my surprise, I still felt like, oh, maybe it's because that extra layer of makeup or a product sometimes can dry out the skin, and so for that reason I don't go back to it very often, but I will say the product works for what it's been designed to do in terms of blurring and just helping you hold on to makeup a bit longer. The next complexion product is from Westman Atelier. It is her Vital Press Skincare Powder, and this is in a translucent well, shade, if you can call it. It does have a bit of a white cast, and I tend to put a lot of it on. I like my foundation to be set. This does not, so here's the thing, it doesn't totally set the foundation. However, give it like 20 minutes. I mean, like even at the hour, everything really settles down. But the skincare benefits of this, I just see it in the skin. At the end of the day, my skin is like less dry as I'm taking off the makeup, and it holds the makeup on better than my loose powder. Prior to this, I really was not into any pressed powders for setting makeup because I find loose powder just does a better job. You can get it into like the nooks and crannies a little bit better. So this really changed my mind. I think it's a great product if you're looking for pressed powder. I recommend this. If you're looking for a powder with the added skincare benefits, I would recommend this. And if you're uncertain because it doesn't totally set the makeup, I will say as kind of the day goes on, it really does settle. And typically by the end of the day, again, just kind of looking at everything and seeing how everything sits, and I'm just checking here, I'm like, oh, you know, nothing is coming off on my hands. Whereas it's not going to be the case with this product. It settles, but I remember trying it and it'd be hours later, a bit would still come off. So I actually, today when I put this on, I did set the blurring balm for that reason. Sticking with complexion products, I have Lisa Eldridge's, her Elevated Highlighter. This is Pink Moon, a new shade she released, and I did wear it underneath my makeup, just right here on the high points, the nose, Cupid's bow. So this technique of wearing kind of highlighter on different parts of the face, or I guess on the critical points of the face, but underneath makeup is part of Lisa Eldridge's kind of patchwork technique, where she doesn't necessarily apply foundation all over the face. She doesn't necessarily conceal the same amount on, you know, this side of the face versus this. It all just depends on the needs of the person and their skin. So if there's a part on the skin that's particularly dry, then she'll use like just, you know, really hydrating, boosting serum, for example, on that area to prep the skin. Then she might go into this highlighter here, just on the high points to give more of a glow, and then she could also add more into an area that might seem a little bit duller. Then she goes in and work in the concealer and then the foundation. So she doesn't necessarily actually, you know, layer all the products neatly and evenly together. She just does it in a patchwork style. And at the end, the finished product is a very seamless look. So I got the idea from her to put this under makeup, and I just like it. It's very subtle. Of course, I can go back in and put highlighter on top or go into a different product depending on what I'm trying to go for. But having this underneath just gives you a bit of a subtle glow, and you can kind of see as I'm turning here, those areas that I've put on highlighter just has a certain, just a very, very subtle reflective quality to it. It's a little bit brighter than the rest of the face. And I love the shade Pink Moon. It's cool with a pink undertone. You can see here. Yeah, it's been really fun playing with this. The other Lisa Eldridge product I tried at the same time as Pink Moon is her self-setting foundation. It is truly self-setting and it has a natural finish. I love it. The reason why I haven't gone back to get a full-size product, because I also tried it in a sample card. I tried shades 9 and 10. Both were a good fit. It was around early to mid-May when I wear the foundations. Is that I can't figure out if I should buy a shade that works for me during late fall, winter, or should I aim for like spring, summer? That's why I haven't gone back. But I've worn that foundation just on a regular day. I've worn it traveling. I was on a plane going from a hot and humid place to somewhere that's drier, cooler, and it held so well the entire day. You know, that breakdown that I'm talking about right around here, these areas with movement, it was just minimal. And I was really, I mean, maybe because you don't need to put powder on it, that's one less layer of product, so you're just relying on this foundation to kind of hang on, but it works. I love the foundation, and yeah, just trying to decide what shade works best for me. Okay, moving on here. I have two products from Victoria Beckham. I'm gonna go through the one that hasn't quite worked out. It's her San Kajal eyeliner. I just, you know, I know that there's some ways to make the smudging better. What happens is I typically use the Kajal liner under on the lower lash line, above here. You can already see some smudging right here. It's just for me kind of like blinking, you know, regular movement. You can see the smudging here already. And they're great because they glide on and they're easy. Also comes with a smudger. Although I much prefer using a smudging brush than this. This is kind of rough. It's kind of rough even on the back of the hand. Never mind the eye area here. The shade I have here is Olive. So this is Olive. This here, because I'm doing this for a second time here, this is from Chantecaille. It's their Silk Infused liner in the shade Forest. This does not smudge. Unfortunately, this does. So I have two shades. The first time I tried it, it was wonderful. No smudging. I've gone back to get a second shade or a different color, and it hasn't really worked. I like to go back and try it a few more times at least for all of this beautiful green shade, and maybe just place it on the lid and then go back with the smudger here to see how that works. But again, as you can see, just this here, yeah, unfortunately, so far has not been working out for me. The product that has been working out from Victoria Beckham are her Posh Gloss. I love this. When she announced that new shades will be available, I was like, yes, I'm there. Let me pick some up and just try them. I love these. When she first released the Posh Glosses, they were these kind of neutral shades. And then when she released more shades in the summer, they were pink and berry to match with the season. I have Fizz on. So what I'm wearing is her Posh lipstick in the shade Sway. And it goes really well with Fizz. And I get this beautiful glossy look. I'm not even really too much of a gloss person, and so these are my go-tos. These have me convinced otherwise. Anytime I want that shiny look, I'm gonna go for Posh Glosses. All right, now we're down to the last two products here, and they're both bronzers. I have the Charlotte Tilbury Sun-Kissed Glow Bronzer. This is a cream bronzer. This is in the shade 1. I have it underneath, or actually not underneath, on top of makeup, just around this area here to warm it up. I really have been enjoying this. I haven't gone back as much because there were a slew of bronzers being released, but I much preferred this over the Chanel Soleil de Tan. Because you can build this up. Unfortunately though, the shades available there's just not that many. I think she might come up with more shades, but the gap between 1 and 2 is quite big. Although Soleil de Tan from Chanel, same thing here. It's not like the grass is greener on the other side. You can get more shades. Like, I think they both have the same issue in terms of just flexibility and just being able to, you know, find exactly what's right for your skin tone. This works for me throughout the year. That's why I've been enjoying it. And it really just depends. And you can, well, let me backtrack here a little bit. You can use this under your makeup to help you build that subtle dimension, or you can use it on top for something more dramatic. And both work really well. You can also use it underneath and then apply more on top as well. The next bronzer is from Chanel, and it is their oversized powder bronzer. This is scented, whereas the Charlotte Tilbury one is not. If you're interested in seeing a bronzer comparison video, I do have actually 2 bronzer videos from this past summer, and links below if you guys are interested. This powder is super, super smooth, and it is oversized because it's meant to be applied on the body as well. And I would say, you know, because we're talking about these two in the same video again, I want to say it just depends on what medium you want to work with. Do you prefer creams over powders? Do you prefer dusting your bronzer on? Because they're both just as easy to diffuse, to even out. I think, well, maybe this one, because it's powder and very buttery, it's easier to work with a little bit faster than a cream. But this is in no way, you know, that's not to knock the cream bronzer down at all. So I think it just depends on personal preference. You could, of course, use this under your makeup and then dust this on top of your finished foundation. And the shade of the two, so this is Charlotte Tilbury and this is Chanel. Chanel I have in shade medium. It's warmer and redder than the Charlotte Tilbury one, so that's the two differences, or that's the main difference between the two bronzers. I like them both pretty much equally, and for me it just comes down to what I feel like doing during that time when I'm applying the bronzers, and whether I want scent. If I want no scent, this is an easy pick. Well, thank you guys for watching. I think when this video comes out, it will be just around the time when Sephora is having their fall VIB sale. So any products that I've mentioned in this video, if they're available at Sephora, I will have the links below to Sephora. And I will see you guys very soon in the next one. Bye.